ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम। By His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 10, Dhruva Mahāraja's fight with the Yakshas. Starting a new chapter today. So this chapter is largely divided into two sections. The first two shlokas describes about Dhruva's marriage and his descendants. Dhruva had two wives, Brahmi and Ila. And the second section is about texts 3 to 30, that is killing of Uttama and fight with the Yakshas. So it's going to be a very, very, heroic chapter where Dhruva is going to fight and overwhelmed, and then he takes shelter of the Lord's holy names. And then again, there is even severe fight. And then Swayambhu Manu, he appears. Then he advises Dhruva. So this all happens in chapter 11. And then chapter 12, if you see the title, Dhruva Maharaj goes back home, back to Godhead. So this is the Dhruva Charitra. Then we will see the descendants of Maharaj Dhruva and everything. So text 1. So first two texts are about marriage of Dhruva and his descendants. Maitreya Uvacha Prajapaterduhitaram Shushumarasya Vai Dhruvah Upayeme Brahmim Nama Tatsutau Kalpavatsarau. Translation.
The great sage Maitreya said, "My dear Vidur, thereafter Dhruva Maharaj married the daughter of Prajapati Shishumar, whose name was Brahmi, and two sons named Kalpa and Vatsara were born of her." Purport: It appears that Dhruva Maharaj married after being installed on the throne of his father and after the departure of his father to the forest for self-realization. It is very important to note in this connection that since Maharaj Uttanapad was greatly affectionate towards his son, and since it is the duty of a father to get his sons and daughters married as quickly as possible, why did he not get his son married before he left home? The answer is that Maharaj Uttanapad was a Rajarshi, that is, saintly king. Although he was busy in his political affairs and duties of government management, he was very anxious for self realization. Therefore, as soon as his son Dhruva Maharaj was quite worthy to take charge of the government, he took this opportunity to leave home, just like his son, who without fear left home for self realization even at the age of 5 years. These are rare instances from which we can see that the importance of spiritual realization is above all other important work. Maharaj Uttanapad knew very well that to get his son Dhruva Maharaj married was not so important that it should take preference to his going away to the forest for self realization. Hare Krishna.
So now Dhruva, Great sage Maitreya continued. So this is again Maitreya Vidura Samvad. We have to be really grateful to these two personalities for giving us Canto 3 and Canto 4. Said, my dear Vidura, thereafter Dhruva Mahārāja married the daughter of Prajapati Shishumar. Duhitaram Shishumarasya vai Dhruva. Upayeme Brahmim. Her name was Upayeme means married. Brahmi is the name of the daughter. Tatsutau Kalpa Vatsarau. And then had two sons, Kalpa and Vatsara, were born of her. So Dhruva's two sons are named as Kalpa Vatsara. His first wife name is Brahmi. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that Dhruva married after being installed on the throne of the father, and the father immediately departed, Uttanapad. And Prabhupada says it is very important to note here. What is to note here is that Uttanapad was not there for the marriage. Although Maharaj Uttanapad was extremely affectionate to Dhruva, in fact, most of the time, Dhruva is referred as Auttanapada, was very dear son of Uttanapad. That one instance aside, that he did not say anything to Suruchi, that one instance aside, Uttanapad was greatly affectionate to Dhruva. But still, and although he was greatly affectionate, and it is duty of the father to get sons and daughters married, it still did not wait for the marriage of Dhruva. Why? Because Prabhupada says Uttanapad was always busy in the political affairs, government activities. But when he saw Dhruva is extremely qualified, then he became very anxious for his own self-realization, and thus took the opportunity to leave home just like his son had left home for self-realization at the very young age of 5. So what is important is we have to take on to spiritual life, and we do not have to wait for everything to get set in my life. There is a story of Narad Muni and Kailash. And there is a very beautiful YouTube video, if you can watch. I wanted that YouTube video to play also. Pata nahi how we can play that. Okay, we'll play sometime. This is about the story of Dhruva. They are very beautifully, they have covered it. Mudit Krishna Prabhu, if we can play the YouTube video, we can watch that on, sharing screen and sharing.
It is on YouTube, Prabhu.
Okay, then we'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow we'll do it.
Yes.
So, what is important here is that we do not, there is a story of, Narad Muni and Kailash. And this Kailash fellow was always waiting for, no, not now, Prabhuji, leave it. So, this always waiting, giving one reason or another to Narad Muni that I will do after some time, I will do after some time, I will do after some time. And then, like this, after some time means life after life it is past. Like, now 31st December is coming, 1st January is coming. We want to take so many vows, we want to do so many sankalpas we want to take. And then, year after year, maybe we are taking the same sankalpa. But time is going invariably. Uttanapad was aware of the importance of spiritual realization. And he felt that, everything will go on with me or without me. I don't have to worry so much. He was not reckless, he was not irresponsible, he was not callous. But he realized that Dhruva is far more qualified, and Dhruva is guided very well, accepted very well by the citizens, guided by the ministers, and I am redundant. This is a very important thing, right? I am redundant. And thus, he just passed on the baton to Dhruva and left for self-realization. Also, Srila Prabhupada, when Prabhupada took sannyas, it was not that all his life was very well, greatly set, and then he took sannyas. No. His one son was undergoing some problem, but his daughter was to be married. His factory was not doing very well at that time. And there were so many. It was not that everything was well set for Prabhupada. And then he took sannyas. So, of course, Prabhupada is a Yuga Purush personality. All of us are not required to do all that, but we should not postpone the surrender for everything to set right. It's not that after my 10th I will start chanting, after my 12th I will start chanting, after my, the daughters or sons 10th I will start more seva. There is no end to that. Text 2. Ilayamapi bharyayam vayo putram mahabalah putram utkalaнаmanam yoshitratnam ajijanat. Translation.
Translation: The greatly powerful Dhruva Maharaj had another wife named Ila, who was the daughter of the demigod Vayu. By her, he begot a son named Utkala and a very beautiful daughter.
So this is the second wife of Dhruva Maharaj, a powerful Dhruva, Mahabalaha. He had another wife named Ila, Ilayamapi bharyayam Vayoho. She was the daughter of Vayu. Amongst the demigods, we know that the Vayu is considered to be most powerful demigod. Right. So and by her he got the son named Utkala and a very beautiful daughter. Text 3. Now we come to the point of death of Uttama and the fight of Dhruva. Okay, this is the next section. From text 3 to end of the chapter 330, we are going to be in the same section. Uttamasto krito udvaho mrugayayam baliyasa hatah punnajanendranadro tanmatasya tasya gatim gata. Translation.
Dhruva Mahāraja's younger brother Uttama, who was still unmarried, once went on a hunting excursion and was killed by a powerful Yaksha in the Himalayan mountains. Along with him, his mother Suruchi also followed the path of her son. She died.
Yeah. So as predicted by the Supreme Lord, one day when Uttama, he went for Mrugayayam Baliyasa. When he went for Mrugaya, that is, he went for hunting exercise. And this is required for the Kshatriyas to do hunting time to time. One thing is to keep the sages safe. Another thing, to practice the art of warfare. Right. Still unmarried. He was not married. And then there he was killed by a very powerful Yaksha in the Himalayan mountains. Along with him, greatly aggrieved by the death of Uttama, Suruchi also went to the forest and she gatim gataha. She also followed the same path, that is, she died. This was exactly as it was predicted by the Supreme Lord, what is going to happen. And this was the result of the Vaishnava aparadh that Suruchi committed at the lotus feet of Dhruva. Text 4. Dhruvo bhratuvatam vadham shrutva कोपामर्श शुचार्पितः जैत्रं स्यन्दयन्नास्थाय गतः पुण्यजनालयम्. Translation.
When Dhruva Maharaj heard of the killing of his brother Uttama by the Yakshas in the Himalayan mountains, being overwhelmed with the lamentation and anger, he got on his chariot and went out for victory over the city of the Yakshas, Alakāpurī. Purport: Dhruva Maharaja's becoming angry, overwhelmed with grief, and envious of the enemies was not incompatible with his position as a great devotee. It is a misunderstanding that a devotee should not be angry, envious, or overwhelmed by lamentation. Dhruva Maharaj was the king, and when his brother was ceremoniously killed, it was his duty to take revenge against the Yakshas from the Himalayas.
Yeah. So when Dhruva, he heard this news of killing of his own brother, Dhruvo Bhratu Vardham Shrutva, he was overwhelmed with lamentation that his own younger brother is killed and anger. He mounted on his chariot and went out to the city of Yakṣas, that is Alakāpurī. Right. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Dhruva Maharaj became angry, overwhelmed with grief, and envious of the enemies, and it is not incompatible with the position of his being a great devotee. Sometimes people have this idea that to become a devotee means one will just become like a vegetable, has no emotions. सुख दुखे श्रुत समय कृत्वा लाभा लाभो जया जयो. अच्छा ऐसा हुआ क्या, वेरी गुड. वैसा नहीं हुआ, वेरी गुड. दिस इज ऑल्सो गुड, दैट इज ऑल्सो गुड. It is not the case, right? Like anybody else, the devotee and the great devotee and the pure devotee will also have emotions. that we have seen. Like when in the Mahabharata, when Abhimanyu was killed, and what a description it is. When Arjuna is returning on that day, on the death of Abhimanyu, Arjuna sees all the moroseness around. There is no Nagada is being played there, there is no. And then he's saying, Madhusudan, Krishna, is something missing today? Has something very bad happened? And he's moving around like that. All the soldiers are putting their head down as soon as they see Arjuna. And Krishna is extremely grave. And Krishna says, my dear Arjun, what good happens in a war? And thus they enter. And before entry, generally, what used to happen is Abhimanyu used to come. And Abhimanyu used to say, Papa, today I fought with Karna uncle. And I just made him retreat this many yojanas. And I killed this warrior, that warrior, this Sena. He was just like how the children they come back from exam, how they will be so excited to tell that ये एग्जाम में आया था, ये सॉल्व किया, वो सॉल्व किया, ऐसा आया, ऐसा ये छूट गया, like that Abhimanyu was very very excited always. And that day Abhimanyu did not confront Arjun. And then Arjuna is thinking, and then sudden when Arjuna enters, all the Pandavas are sitting, 4 of them, their head down, and he looks at the throne of Abhimanyu, and that is empty. And then follows the description of Mahabharata, lamentation of Arjuna. The Kali Yuga Jeev like you and, all of us, we neither can love like Arjuna, neither can lament like Arjuna. Okay, we can simply be happy. And what a description it is. It is a phenomenal description how Arjuna laments for Abhimanyu. Something very close is going to come on the way later when we see, the Chitraketu Maharaj is lamenting for his own son Harsha Shoka. That we will come across in the next canto. So Arjuna is a pure devotee. What to speak of pure devotee? Arjuna's wife is Subhadra, who is sister of Krishna, and they are the eternal pair, right? So Arjuna is Nara Narayana. He is Nara of the Nara Narayan Rishi. So Prabhupada says that Dhruva Mahārāja is becoming angry, overwhelmed with grief, envious of the enemies, is not incompatible to his position of being a pure devotee. Right? All emotions exist, only emotions are purified. Same we will see with Draupadi. Vengeance, extreme vengeance. And she is the purest, such a devotee. She is called as Krishna herself. And then we'll see Vritrasur. That will come in the later cantos. Vritrasur, when he sees Indra, the language that he uses for Indra, the sarcasm inside it, and the chapter is named as Transcendental Qualities of Vritrasur. Okay, so this is Bhagavatam. So it is not that devotional service is not so plain and it is not so black and white that you have become devotee. That means all emotions are gone. You should simply smile. Like you have a smiley, and you should be moving around. No. Right? Devotees also have emotions, and here they are being exhibited by Dhruva in a great way. It is a misunderstanding that a devotee should not be angry, envious, or overwhelmed by lamentation. Dhruva being the king and his brother unceremoniously killed, it was his duty to take revenge against the Yakṣas from the Himalayas. Right? So it's Dhruva's time to do Operation Sindur. One cannot simply say, oh, okay, they are misguided people. We should simply forgive them. They don't know what they are doing, but we know what we are doing. No, they have to be taught a good lesson. Prabhupada writes here, it is his duty to take revenge. So what it means also is that the rules on the personal level are different than the rules for the national level. Personally, one may be forgiving, but nationally, when it comes to the nation, one has to be, like Dhruva it is. Dhruva is going to take revenge against Yaksha. In this case, he is the person and he is the nation, both. Okay. Text 5. Maharaja Rudranudarshan Himabadrun Sankulam. Translation.
Translation: Dhruva Maharaj went to the northern direction of the Himalayan range. In a valley, he saw a city full of ghostly persons who were followers of Lord Shiva. Purport: in this verse, it is stated that the Yakshas are more or less devotees of Lord Shiva. By this indication, the Yakshas may be taken to be the Himalayan tribes like the Tibetans. Hare Krishna.
So, Dhruva went to the northern direction of the Himalayan ranges. And there he saw the city, Raja. He saw the city full of the ghostly people who were followers of Lord Shiva. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Yakshas are more or less, they are devotees of Lord Shiva. Shivanucharaha, Rudranucharaha, right? They are Anuchara of the Rudra. And Prabhupada says, Himalayan tribes like the Tibetans and others, one can see. And here one has to understand that, it is not that when we say that going to Himalayas, Badri, is the same as per, that everybody else is going to. According to consciousness, the place also will reveal differently. Like when Madhvacharya, he went to Himalayas, he could go to the upper Badri and the higher sections of the Himalayas, which are inaccessible to all of us. There he went, there he met Vedavyas, he offered his commentary, Vedavyas blessed him, he came down and he said that, yeah, I met Vedavyas, my commentary is accepted, let's go and preach. So if we go, we may see only some, mountain of Barfuka mountain that we will see, ice mountain. And we will not see more than that. Just like, so a dog may enter somewhere, a place, and dog will see what a doggish vision can allow the dog to see. Whereas the scientist may enter the same place and then he will say, oh, it is, I have come to Baba Atomic Research Center. And he will have the greater different understanding of same reality based on his evolution in the knowledge. Both are entering the same premise, but their understanding will be different. Similarly, we may enter Himalayas and our understanding is limited to what our Rajogun Tamogun understanding is. But those who are elevated in Sattvaguna and spiritually advanced, they will have very far different revelation of the Himalaya than what we will have otherwise. Text 6. Now here Dhruva has reached the place, and what Dhruva does? Tadmau shankam bruhat bahu kham dishascha anunadayan yena udvigna drishakshatta upadevya trasan bhrusham. Translation.
Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj reached Alakāpurī, he immediately blew his conch shell, and the sound reverberated throughout the entire sky and every direction. The wives of the Yakshas became very much frightened. From their eyes, it was apparent that they were full of anxiety. Hare Krishna.
And now the first thing Dhruva did is that he immediately blew his conch shell. Tadmo Mahashankha, Brihat Bahu, extremely powerful Dhruva. So it is one thing to be a great devotee, and it's another thing that he's also extremely powerful. These are not, these are not contradictory to each other, right? Because he's a Kshatriya, he's very, very powerful. As a devotee, he's a pure devotee. And, we have to train ourselves, our children, also in both the things. Our BMS logo is character, competence, and devotion. All three are important. Character is important, competence is important, right? Devotion is also important. One without another is a limitation. So that sound reverberated throughout the entire sky and in every direction. This is the blowing of conch shell. The wives of the Yakshas became very frightened and full of anxiety. Kshatta, he's saying, my dear Vidura, Kshatta. So here, time to time, Maitreya is calling Vidura also. Text 7. Tato nishkramya balina upadeva mahabhataha asantam tataninatam avipetu upayudha. Translation.
O hero Vidura, the greatly powerful heroes of the Yakshas, unable to tolerate the resounding vibration of the conch shell of Dhruva Maharaj, came forth from their city with weapons and attacked Dhruva.
So the Yakshas were no less. As soon as they heard the conch shell, that is, the beagle of the war, they could not tolerate this. They got their weapons and they just came out of the city and simultaneously attacked Dhruva. Text 8. स तानापततो वीर उग्रधन्वा महारथाः एकैकं युगपत् सर्वान् अहन् बाणैः त्रिभिः. Translation.
Dhruva Mahārāja, who was a great charioteer and certainly a great bowman also, immediately began to kill them by simultaneously discharging arrows 3 at a time.
Yeah. So Dhruva, he was, 3 adjectives are being used here. Veera, extremely powerful personality. Hero, Ugradhanva. Ugradhanva means he was a very powerful bowman. And Maharatha is once, he is a great chariot fighter. So Dhruva on the chariot, extremely powerful bowman. He was a hero himself. He began to shoot the arrows 3 at a time. 3 तीन बाण से एक के साथ एक. He started his counter attack. Text 9. ते वै ललाट लग्नैतै इषुभिः सर्व एव हि मत्वा निरस्तमात्मानम् आशंसन् कर्म तस्य तत्. Translation.
Translation: When the heroes of the Yakshas saw that all their heads were being thus threatened by Dhruva Mahārāja, they could very easily understand their awkward position, and they concluded that they would certainly be defeated. But as heroes, they lauded the action of Dhruva. Purport: This spirit of fighting in a sporting attitude is very significant in this verse. The Yakshas were severely attacked. Dhruva Mahārāja was their enemy, but still, upon witnessing the wonderful heroic acts of Maharaja Dhruva, they were pleased with him. This straightforward appreciation of an enemy's prowess is a characteristic of a real Kshatriya spirit. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Their heads thus been threatened by Dhruva Mahārāja. So that is coming to their head. They were in a very awkward position. And they concluded that certainly they are going to be defeated. But in spite of all that, they lauded the action of Dhruva for his terrific fight that he put forward. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, the spirit of fighting is a sporting attitude, right? Although Yakshas were severely attacked, they were very pleased by this attack and they praised the enemy's power in the real Kshatriya spirit. This is we see, when Samba was attacked by the 6 warriors, 6 powerful people attacking Samba. Who were 6? Drona, Karna, Bhishma, Duryodhan, Dushasan, and Shukuni. Right? Imagine the power. And Samba is a small child. And he was countering all of them simultaneously. He had picked up Lakshmana, the daughter of Duryodhan. Look at the politics. Krishna's son picking up daughter of Duryodhan and fighting with all these 6 of them. And when they saw Samba fighting like this, they were wonderstruck what kind of fight he has put forward. And they began to glorify Samba, although they were attacking him to kill him. So this is called as the sporting attitude. This is the fighting spirit within the Kshatriya. Text 10. Tepi chamam amrushantah padasparsham ivoragah sharai avidyan yugapat dviyugunam prachikirshavaha. Translation.
Just like serpents who cannot tolerate being trampled upon by anyone's feet, the Yakshas, being intolerant of the wonderful prowess of Dhruva Mahārāja, threw twice as many arrows, 6 from each of their soldiers, and thus they very valiantly exhibited their prowess. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So just like the snake which is trampled upon cannot tolerate, similarly, although Yakshas, they were momentarily taken back, they attacked with double the prowess. Dhruva is putting 3 arrows. Each of the Yaksha, Dhruva is alone. Each of the Yaksha, later it will come the counting. It is like 130,000 Yakshas were attacking Dhruva. They, each of them, Dviguna, 2 times of 3, they just began to attack. And this is how the attack took place. We'll just read one more. Text 11-12. Tatah parigas nishrichaihi prasashula parashvadaihi shaktarshis rushtibi bhushanduhu vrajavajai sharairapi abhyavarshan prakupita saratham saharat sarathim ichchantah tata pratikartum ayutanam trayodashah. Translation?
The Yaksha soldiers were 130,000 strong, all greatly angry and all desiring to defeat the wonderful activities of Dhruva Mahārāja. With full strength, they showered upon Maharaj Dhruva, along with his chariot and charioteer, various types of feathered arrows, parighas, iron bludgeons, nistrimshahs, swords, prasaulas, tridents, paraswadhus, lances, shaktis, pikes, rashtis, spears, and bhushandi weapons.
Yeah. So now the Yaksha soldiers were extremely angry. Why angry? Because they felt human is attacking them. It is like beyond their dignity that human is attacking Yaksha. They felt human is attacking Yaksha. They felt so angry that 130,000 of them, Trayodasha, right? Ayuta means 10,000, Trayodasha means 13. So 10,000 into 13, 130,000 Yakshas, all extremely powerful, very, very angry. And they simultaneously attacked with full strength on Dhruva Mahārāja with swords, iron badges, lances, pikes, spears, bhushindis, all of them, they simultaneously attacked Dhruva Mahārāja. What a life, right? We just read one more. Auttanapade satada shastravarshena bhurina na evam adrushyachanna asarena yathagirihi. Translation?
Dhruva Maharaj was completely covered by an incessant shower of weapons, just as a mountain is covered by incessant rainfall. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out in this connection that although Dhruva Maharaj was covered by the incessant arrows of the enemy, this does not mean that he succumbed in the battle. The example of a mountain peaks being covered by incessant rain is just suitable. For when a mountain is covered by incessant rain, all dirty things are washed from the body of a mountain. Similarly, the incessant shower of the arrows from the enemy gave Dhruva Maharaj new vigor to defeat them. In other words, whatever incompetency he might have had was washed away.
Yeah. Uttanapada. So the son of Uttanapada, Dhruva, Shastravarshena Bhurina. He was completely covered by the incessant showers of the weapons, just as the mountain peak is covered by incessant rainfall. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he describes that Dhruva Maharaj was covered by the incessant showers of the enemy. This does not mean that he succumbed in the battle. Just like the mountain peak is covered by the severe rainfall, sometimes the rain is so severe one will never see even the mountain also. Right? So similarly, Dhruva became invisible under the torrential rain of the weapons. And thus Dhruva became invisible. Right? Of course, that does not mean that washed away Dhruva's, the Prabhupada writes here, new vigor Dhruva got to defeat them. Whatever incompetency because he had not fought such a battle for a long time, he might have, that was being washed away. And that is Dhruva Mahārāja. Okay. And then what happened is, Kara. We will say this tomorrow. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Gauda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
What's the matter, bhai?